Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Okay, so what did I want to talk about now? I wanted to talk about relationships still with people and how to communicate with people in a really good way, an effective way, uh, a way where there's a common bond of empathy, understanding, and compassion, and where we're talking and communicating for the good of everybody. Okay. So how are you today? I know yourself. Doing good? Hope you're really well. And I hope, even if you have a few aches or pains or troubles, that you approach it with a really good attitude and that you'll overcome your challenges. At least you'll do your best anyway. Especially when it comes to the people anyway. You can only, as you try and as you try and as you try, you can only keep getting better and keep going towards more harmonious and more peaceful, loving relationships. Okay, so what I wanted to mainly focus on now is communication. So when we talk to people, we want clear, open, honest communication. Preferably we'd like simple communication, straightforward. So we want to talk to a person in a way that they feel that they can understand us easily. So we need to be clear in our words, and we need to be clear in what we want to say. But usually, anyway, people don't talk very clearly because they're afraid. They're afraid of saying the truth, revealing their feelings and their vulnerabilities, and then they're afraid of how the other person might respond. So anyway, if we can just be a little bit courageous or know it's really important and talk to somebody in a way where we can be open with them and honest and clear so they can understand. And it's really important not only for them to understand us, but for us to understand them. So we need to listen carefully. We need to listen with our hearts to what they're feeling beyond what they're saying. Like us, often people don't want to reveal their feelings, so they say words, but beneath their words there's usually an idea, a feeling that they're feeling, which is really the most important thing. This is what we need to connect with. Yeah. Another part of understanding someone is asking them questions. We need to look for feedback. So maybe asking them, is that okay with you if I do that? Is it okay if I move this here in the house or in the workplace? Is it okay if I move this? Or do you mind if I take this? Is that alright with you? Or do you have another idea? Another good idea? It's always good to ask questions actually and invite them what they think and what they feel, their opinions, their viewpoint, their standpoint, because then they actually, not only can you like talk to them and you have a bond and a communication pathway between the two of you. You're talking to each other, having a conversation, but you're actually inviting them to share with you what they feel and think. You're inviting them, which is very different to them always telling or imposing upon you. So when you invite them, you're showing that you care and respect them and you're interested in their ideas and views. You're interested in them. You're interested in their opinions, which is lovely. It's really nice. Often people are demanding when they're talking with people. They might say, "Hey, would you bring this over here for me, please?" Or, "Would you do this for me? Would you get me this in the kitchen right out there, please?" Sometimes I'll even say, "Please," and then it really sounds like a demand, and people are uncomfortable with saying, "No, no, no," or like, "No, I don't really want it," or they usually often do things reluctantly, begrudgingly, possibly, out of fear of not doing it. They're afraid of what that person might say or do to them if they don't do it, or how they'll feel towards them in the future. If they'll hold a grudge if they don't do it, or if they'll give out to them, or if they'll get in trouble if they don't do it. So personally, I've found something that's been really lovely in my own life. When I ask people to do anything, I'm very interested in letting them know that it's not a demand, that they're allowed to say no. And again, that's showing that I respect and accept their feelings at any particular time. Sometimes people aren't interested in doing something for you, and that's okay, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. We all are like that. It's okay. So when I ask someone a question, I know that people are uncomfortable saying no. They like to say, people are much more likely to say, yeah, I'd love to do, I'd love to do this, or yeah, that's a great idea, or yeah, okay. So what I do is, after asking the question, I add on something else, which is, I'll just tell you now. It's like, okay, for example, let's say I ask somebody to get me something in another room which they're passing through. And this can be applied to anything. So I'll say, hey, so-and-so, would you mind getting me that thing in the room, please? I just want, yeah, okay, so I'll say that. And I'll say, maybe that's not the best example actually. Let's say it's a bit of a bigger favour. Would you mind picking me something at a nearby shop when you're out shopping? But at the end of it, I'll say, but don't worry if it's too much hassle or you're just not in the mood. Like that's okay. That's cool with me, you know. Or I can always get it another day, you know. So I'm bringing lightness to the situation. I'm bringing lightness to the situation, and I'm letting them know that they can say no. So I'll say, would you mind getting me that in that shop? If that's alright with you. But no problem if you don't want it. It's alright. Or if it's out of your way. Or if you don't have enough time. That's okay. And then they'll be much more likely to say, yeah, actually, I don't really have too much time today, or I'm a bit tired under pressure. Would you mind if I did it another day? And I'll say, yeah, of course, no problem. Perfect. No problem and perfect are two of my favourite words. It's just non-resistance to what is. You're just going with the flow of things and you're not fighting or posing with somebody. It's really nice. So I always do this, and it's just always really nice. And when you say this, actually, it leaves the door open for somebody to say, actually, yeah, maybe I will have time, or I think I could do it for you today, actually, no problem. So you're actually allowing them to be kind. You're inviting them to be kind themselves by offering of their own free will without feeling pressured. And that's beautiful. They're being kind, and you can accept that kindness, and everyone benefits. You're being kind and giving them the opportunity to be kind, not just doing something out of fear or shame or anything. And then you're benefiting from someone else being kind. It's lovely. So be careful of demanding. We can have a tendency to do that. We know when we're demanding, if we ask ourselves, like, how would we feel or how would we respond if the person said no? And if we feel bad in any way, as in like upset, or if we feel angry or judging them, we're demanding on them. We know it's not a demand if they're able to say no, and we won't feel bad about it towards them. Another thing about loosening up on knowing people that we're not demanding on them is through our history and past experiences with this person, or their experiences with other people in their life. They may have been demanded upon many times, and they felt like they didn't have a say or a voice in the situation, and they may be very sensitive to the people asking them requests. They may be tired of it and sensitive. So when we ask them a question, they might be more likely to think it's a demand and hold a grudge or something. So it's nice when we make it very obvious that we're not demanding upon them. It's really nice for the interrelationship between two people, and as we keep doing this, people can realize that we're not a demanding person and we really aren't demanding them, and as it goes on more and more, they realize we accept the way they are. We accept them the way they are. That sometimes it might just be like moody and that's okay with us. We respect that they're feeling not the best emotionally, you know, because that's what moodiness is. They're thinking, we accept the way they're thinking and feeling, and we're not going to try and pressure them and bully them into doing what we want, or that they're tired sometimes, or that they're stressed. We're listening to their feelings.